Cool. Guys, what I would like to show you right now is so far we studied about the basic syntax of a protractor using which how to create a program and how to create a spec file and a config file. It's a bit difficult for us to go with that concept as we are completely new to the Node.js. So initially, we got a simple question in our mind. Why can't we handle protractor using a okay, why can't we handle protractor using a Java programming language, right? As we all are good at a Java programming language, why can't we use a protractor using Java? Why can't we use protractor using Java? This is what my requirement is. Yes, of course we can use it, but how can we use that? So that's what a typical question will rise in our mind. How can we handle protractor using a Java programming language is a typical question which usually will rise in our mind, right? We need to handle this one. Okay, how we are going to handle a protractor using a Java programming language? This is the most important thing, guys. The reason is you can find some information about a protractor over Google, but it's not possible for you to find some information protractor using a Node.js, using a Java programming language. We don't have any resources available in the current market to give some information about a protractor using a Node.js. Okay, to give some information about a protractor using a Node.js. So what I would like to do right now means I would like to get some information. Okay, I would like to get some information about this protractor using a Node.js and how can I handle this protractor using a Node.js. This is what the most important thing, right? Even we need to know the logic. How can we handle protractor using a Node.js? So what I'm going to do right now in order to handle this a protractor using a Node.js, okay, in order to handle the protractor using a Node.js, what I am doing right now means I'm just navigating to my blog link here. I just navigated to my blog here, okay, where in which I opened my first post. Within the blog I have my first post, how to use a protractor using a Java programming language. So here, download the code from this location. So we do have a GitHub available, we do have a GitHub source available in the market, using which it contains a code for this protractor using Java programming language, which we can call it as a jProtractor. Okay, which we can call it as a jProtractor. So from here, download this particular code as a zip file, unzip that particular folder. Okay, download this particular one, unzip that particular folder, and then open the command prompt. So I'm opening the command prompt here, and the next step out over here is switch to the folder exactly we have above the zip file. Switch to that particular folder. Remove the Java folder from this location. By default, of once after you zip that content, it contains an src test and a Java folder inside that. Remove that particular folder. Use MVN clean package out over there. It will take some time to generate a jar file. After some time, if you switch back to the downloads, jProtractor, inside of which there is a target. Inside a target, you can find this jProtractor.jar. MVN.clean is a command which is generating this particular jar file. MVN.clean package is a command which is generating this jar file. So here, guys, if you clearly observe what we did means from the GitHub official site, we downloaded a jProtractor source code, and then we converted that code into a jProtractor jar file. See, if you remember, I converted the entire protractor stuff into a jProtractor jar file with a simple step, guys. Okay, with a simple step, I converted the entire protractor into a jProtractor jar file. This is similar like to our WebDriver program. Okay, to our WebDriver program, we can add this jar file. and we can write our programs. Okay, and we can write our programs. This is a simple jar file which we can write down our programs. Okay, so this is the way how to download this particular jar file. Now, let's try to add this jar file to our Eclipse editor and to our WebDriver project itself. Directly, I want to add this particular jar file, the jProtractor.jar file, whatever we have created to add to our project. Guys, usually just by looking into this concept, you can understand that these are very simple steps to download and then add a jar file. But the only thing what exactly you need to consider is from various sources, identifying the right source code in the GitHub is the major issue. Okay, so just by looking into this video, you can understand that this is the simplest way how can we use a Java programming language. But before concluding or before downloading this one, we need to spend some effort in order to finalize this code and in order to convert this as a zip file. Okay, in order to convert it as a zip file. So usually guys, I can assure that you can use this point in your interviews. For sure you can use this particular point in an interviews, guys. The reason why I'm stating this one is, okay, the reason why I'm stating is directly you can't find the jProtractor jar file in a Google. And one thing I can assure is, even in the, okay, even in the GitHub jProtractor code also, it doesn't have any information to create a jar file. It doesn't have any information to create a jar file, guys. Okay, so what you can convey whenever you are attending an interviews means extensively I did a R&D in order to generate the jProtractor jar file. So what I did in a current scenarios means basically to generate this jProtractor jar file, I tried in a hell lot of ways. I didn't identify any solution, so I interacted with the developer who created this code and from whom I got a few steps, those steps using which we can, okay, using which we can convert a jProtractor jar file. You know that, guys, 95% of the people who knows a protractor, they usually convey a word that you can use a Node.js only. No one knows about a protractor using a Java programming language. Okay, if you are conveying this particular point in your resume, and if you are addressing this point in your interviews means, for sure 100% it will add more weight for your resume. Okay, more weight for your resume. So make sure that you are communicating this particular point. Okay, now I created a jProtractor jar file. Let me add this jar file to my project. Build path, configure build path, add external jars, jProtractor master, target. It has a jProtractor jar file. I added this jar file. So I finally added my jProtractor jar file to my project. Okay, finally I added my jProtractor jar file to my project. So this is the way how can we add this jProtractor. So the complete protractor code we converted into a jProtractor, and even we added that jProtractor to our project. So in the next session, I would like to show you how to write programs using this. Okay, how to write programs using this, I will show you in the next session.